Okay, so we're here with Peter Nevill. Nev, fantastic season by you so far. What are your thoughts at this stage?
Yeah, personally, it's been a pretty satisfying season. Would have liked for us to get over the line in a couple more games, and if I had done a bit better, maybe we would have.
Massive move for you to come from Victoria originally. Just go back to that time. What originally really made you think about moving first of all, and then coming to New South Wales?
I think at that point in time in Victoria, there wasn't really an opportunity for me. So when Matthew Wade had just come across, and sort of the writing was on the wall that if I wanted to make it in first class cricket, I was going to have to make a move. So happened to coincide quite nicely when Hads was promoted to the Australian side. So there was an opportunity up here, and I was jumping at the opportunity to get up here.
And was there an opportunity to go to other states at that stage, or was New South Wales always the one?
I was certainly exploring my options, but as soon as as Hads got appointed to the Australian side, yeah, I knew New South Wales would be the right choice.
And when you came here, did you find it a different culture to Victoria, or pretty similar setups?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between, they're two very strong states. But the culture in New South Wales has been excellent, and the guys have been very welcoming from day one, and I've certainly loved every minute of it. And
what about the two cities? How do you compare Sydney to Melbourne?
Mate, they're very different cities, and whenever I speak to someone about that, whenever anybody asks me a question about that, I always sort of give the same answer, that they are very different, but I prefer Sydney over Melbourne personally.
When you came here and joined the squad, I suppose as most newcomers joining a squad, you automatically migrate towards certain people. Who are the guys you sort of immediately became pretty good mates with?
I'd have to say Stephen O'Keefe was one that I clicked with very quickly, and he's been a very close friend of mine for the last 4 years.
Has he ever lent you his comb, or?
No, he's very protective of his comb actually. You'd be lucky to get it off him. He's much like Chaz Michaels out of one of his movies, Will Ferrell movies.
And you went on holiday with him, didn't you, and did a trip around Bali, I think, at a time where he was sort of thinking about his future, and it must have been a fun time to travel around at that stage.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a funny time for both of us. I mean, I hadn't exactly set the world on fire in my first year here, and Sock was at that point where it could have gone either way for him, and I've really enjoyed watching him just go from strength to strength and play for Australia and captain New South Wales. But yeah, our time in Thailand, we were certainly soul searching for a little bit there, but it was an experience that certainly brought us closer together. And
when you came here, I suppose there's quite a few keepers around at that stage, with Dan Smith and obviously Hads and other guys like Crossweight around, etc. So it wasn't necessarily easy breaking into this side.
Oh, there was certainly a lot of competition. And I suppose that's always been a strength of New South Wales, and I knew that coming here that there was always going to be competition. So, yeah, it was pretty pleasing to be able to break into the side. It was certainly not easy by any means.
Your batting sort of kicked on. Your first class record now is outstanding. I remember scoring, your first 100 here, and a lot of emotion came out that day. Did you know your batting was going to be as good as it's proven to be?
Well, it's something I've obviously had to work on very hard, but I certainly, if I didn't believe that I could do that, I wouldn't have bothered. But yeah, I still remember my first 100 out here. Socky nearly bowled me over. He tackled me and hugged me, and he was nearly crying. That was a great moment.
And there's been there's been more since. So that side of your game has kicked on. Where do you see your best position in the longer form in terms of in the batting order?
I'd always be happy to bat wherever the captain wants me to bat. I can be quite versatile. I open the batting in grade cricket, or bat number 7 in Shield cricket. I'd be happy as long as I'm getting a game anywhere from 1 to 7 is fine with me.
And with your keeping, do you feel as though your keeping's come a long way as well in the last couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of whenever I can get a hold of Hads and do some keeping stuff with him, mate, he's just outstanding. His glove work and knowledge are second to none, and it's certainly a great sort of resource to have around.
Do you knock around a lot with Hads and share ideas? And I know he does a lot of work with Steve Rickson. Do you
yeah, absolutely. I've done some sessions with Steve and Hads before, and they're both great wicket keepers, and both played Test cricket for Australia, and just both have great knowledge about the craft. So whenever I can get a hold of them, it's always very helpful.
Your one-day form's proven to be pretty good as well. You can smash it with the best of them on your day. The Sixers this year, that was a new experience, and what an incredible experience. Just talk us through those few weeks. Yeah, well,
it was a sort of a new concept, the 8 city-based sides, and no one was really sure exactly how it was going to work out, but I think it's been a raging success, and it was certainly very enjoyable I'm not saying that just because the Sixers got up and won the inaugural Big Bash, but yeah, I really enjoyed playing in front of big crowds. It's something as a domestic cricketer you don't often get to do. But I reckon it was a real success, and very proud to play with some of the guys I got to play with.
And you got a chance to play with what maybe we describe as one of the great characters of the leg spin art, is Stuart MacGill. How is MacGill on and off the field?
On the field, firstly, he's just a pleasure to keep to. It's always, you know, a really great experience to keep to someone who just does so much with the ball. And you know, you've watched on TV when you were a kid, watching him, you know, spin away there. He's a great character on the field as well, and a great character off the field. And it's, you know, it's pretty inspiring actually to see someone get so, you know, so fired up and so passionate when they've been out of the game for a few years.
Were you amazed at the level of skill he still did have? You know,
absolutely.
With the ball, and then the variety of deliveries and
absolutely.
the ability to land them so easily?
Yeah, I really was. He's just so skillful, and we all know how difficult it is trying to bowl leg spin. I tried in the nets every now and then, but mate, he's just unbelievable, Stuart MacGill.
As a keeper in that situation where you're keeping to a spinner who's got such great control, as a keeper, are you sort of aware when you think a wicket might come, or when a batter's about to do something stupid? Can you sort of sense that behind the stumps?
You can sort of see how Stewie's trying to work him over, and it is like when it goes to plan and he's able to execute that and get a wicket out of it, it really is just so impressive. And it's something, you know, some people might not understand what he's exactly trying to do. And I remember him getting Travis Birch stumped with a wrong, and just the way he set him up for that was just beautiful. And then he executed his wrong perfectly.
Yeah. And you know, with this season, not as great as the Blues might have hoped, but a lot of talent in that side, and I imagine it's not going to take too much to turn that around.
Yeah, we've seen once again a lot of players from New South Wales being promoted to play for Australia, and it's obviously a little bit difficult when you have such a turnover in your players. You know, it's rarely been the same side one game to another, but it's great. It gives opportunities to guys like Curtis Patterson, who have, you know, grabbed his opportunity with both hands, and it's great to see him do well at this level.
And if you, as a player in that group, you've now been around the group for a while, do you now see yourself as a sort of senior member of that squad, as someone who wants to take a bit more initiative and direction now? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's always great to get involved, and you know, there's a lot of leaders without titles around the group, and that's, you know, always something that, you know, breeds a good culture. But yeah, absolutely. I've loved being involved, and certainly, you know, feel very comfortable around the guys, and want to help out as much as I can.
And in terms of where you see yourself fitting now, you know, obviously there's only 6 keepers in Australia who are playing, so you're never too far from the national side. Do you feel as though your form and the way you're playing at the moment is good enough to take that next step?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to down the line whenever there's an opportunity. You know, you never know when that opportunity might pop up, and some say you're always closer than you think, but it's one of those things that you try not to think about. Focus on doing well with your cricket, and what eventuates, I suppose. And
off-season, any plans? Have you ever considered going to England, for example?
No, not as yet. I've just recently knocked over my last uni exam, so I won't have to spend my off-season studying again. But no plans as yet. I might grab a hold of Socky and see if I can take him on holiday again.
Where would you think your dream destination for you and Sock would be?
Oh, I haven't even thought about it yet.
I think you could do some damage in New York, couldn't you?
Yeah, New York possibly, or maybe even Vegas. We'll see.
Yeah, I think Vegas for you. Well, Nev, I hope you get to Vegas with Sock this off-season. Congratulations on a great season so far, and good luck with the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.